One of the early childhood education theories that resonates most with me and my teaching style is that of Dr. Rosemary Allen. Dr. Allen's work centers on culturally responsive discipline in early childhood education. Her theory addresses the disproportionate suspension and expulsion of children of color in early learning environments. She advocates for equity-focused, developmentally appropriate practices that recognize and respond to the cultural background of children. The essential components of her theory deals with the culturally responsive practices, teaching strategies that affirms children's identities and reduce biases, and it also looks at implicit bias awareness, where educators must recognize and address their own unconscious biases. It also speaks to discipline, equity in discipline, in that discipline should be fair, consistent, and culturally appropriate. Trauma-informed education, in that schools must acknowledge that there can be sources of trauma that children experience and they must be able to work to mitigate it. And the pyramid model. Dr. Allen's work aligns with the pyramid model, which promotes social emotional competence and inclusive practices. The main contributors to Dr. Allen's theory are the Pyramid Model Consortium, Children's Equity Project at Arizona State University, and the Institute of Racial Equity and Excellence, IRRE. Why this theory resonates with me? This theory resonates with me because it centers the child's identity and lived experience. It encourages reflection and growth in educators, and it promotes inclusive classroom where all children feel seen and valued. In my classroom, how might this theory show up? This theory will show up in the way that I implement discipline. Instead of punitive discipline, I always resort to restorative practices. My classroom norms reflect diverse cultural differences, and I have intentional relationship building strategies with my students and their families. How will I apply this? Here are some practical reasons. I have family engagements where families are invited to come in and share their cultural experiences and their values. I have behavior support plans by using culturally responsive strategies and to support students with challenging behaviors. And we have regular professional development that facilitate workshops on equity, trauma, and implicit biases. Some shortcomings and criticisms of Dr. Allen's theory are that this theory requires deep systemic changes and ongoing training. And this theory also is difficult to measure and address when addressing unconscious bias, because there's no universal rubric that you can use to measure biases. And also there's limited empirical evaluation. While support by anecdotal and qualitative data, more long-term studies are needed. Who are the persons who contest this theory and why? Traditionalists in education are, because some argue that focusing on a cultural responsiveness may dilute academic rigor or discipline standards, and politics critiques. Some worry that the theory may be difficult to scale across diverse school systems without clear metrics.